We appreciate our fans that came out last Saturday night and made the trip over to Oxford. Thought we had a great turnout. We appreciate that. We're all disappointed in the outcome. There's no denying that. We made entirely too many mistakes, had too many costly penalties and inopportune times of the game, and we missed entirely too many tackles. We couldn't sustain any momentum. That once we got it on our side, we couldn't hold it. I thought offensively we were very poor on first down efficiency in the first half especially. I didn't think we matched their physicality, both inside and out on the edge, on the perimeter blocking. We had 3 costly penalties, and we had some opportunities and we couldn't capitalize on them. We all got to get better. We got to help grow these players up quick. We got a lot of inexperience at times, and it shows. But it's on all of us to put them in a position to play fast, and it starts with me. Defensively, thought our defense kept us in the game, especially in the first 3 quarters. We scored on defense, created some momentum, gave us a chance, but they were on the field entirely too long. Our defense was. We had too many missed tackles, more than I can remember of the past. We had a couple critical third down penalties that kept drives alive, and we just couldn't overcome it. And I thought special teams, we didn't do anything special to impact the game. I do think that there was a bright spot there with 2 nice punt returns with Traylon Burks. That was promising. We had a chance to come away with points right before half, and couldn't capitalize on that. But we all got to respond, and that's what this is about. That's what it was about yesterday when these guys come in here. It was about after the game. It starts with me, and it truly is about a response. We've got a very much improved Colorado State team from a year ago coming in this Saturday. We know we're going to get their best shot. But with five offensive and 6 defensive returners back, they got a lot of experience coming back. But as I say each and every week, it's more about us. It's more about how we play than who we play, and correcting the mistakes from last Saturday and responding the right way. And that's what we're going to do. So with that, I'll open up.
Chad, you got Nick Starkel listed as QB1 on the depth chart. Can you talk about that decision?
Yeah. It felt like that coming out of half, it wasn't so much what Ben did or didn't do. It's what Nick did. And we were looking for a spark, something to get our offense moving, create some momentum, create some yards, give an opportunity for some big plays. And that was our decision going into it, and Nick will be our starter.
Chad, even go back to last year, your team struggled to score touchdowns in the first half in a lot of games. Is that something you talk about with your staff, your team, and can you put your finger on what's going wrong in that regard?
Yeah, we have. We've talked about it, and it's something that we've got to continue to develop our offense. We got to become, create our identity. We got to be able to run the football. I mean, that's number one. It always starts with running the football and create explosive plays.
Chad, you basically had defensive end. You got Gabe and a bunch of freshmen. How's Gabe doing leading such a young group? How'd you think he played? How did Mateo and maybe some of those other guys play? And do you have an update on Bell? And if he can't come back, just kind of what do you see for that position being so inexperienced?
Yeah, I don't see Jamario back this week. We'll wait and see. I think it's probably going to be another week. I thought Gabe did some really good things. I thought we had a few mistakes, but and he and I have talked about that, about leading those young guys. Zach Williams, Colin Clay, Mateo Soli, and just helping show those guys. And a lot of those young guys that are out there the first time. You can prepare them, you can talk to them about what it's fixing to be like on the road in the SEC, but until you just get in there and go do it. And I thought Gabe and those guys have done a good job, Scooter and Sosa, of helping kind of, share with those guys what to expect. And they played well. I thought that Zach Williams gives us some speed off the edge. I thought he did some really good things. Soli is very powerful, going to have a great career. Colin Clay is a force. Again, just getting these young guys the experience that they need to get to continue to grow, and we got to grow them up, and that's on us as coaches to do.
Chad, a couple of plays, the trick play that looked like it was supposed to go to O'Grady but went to Woods and had a 14-yard loss. Can you explain what was supposed to take place there? And then the touchdown pass to Trey Knox that for 38 yards it was called back. You had 8 men on the line of scrimmage. Who was supposed to be backed off?
Well, it was. Let's go to the first one. We take in several specials in every game, and that's just what you do. And when they work, they look great. You look like a hero. When they don't, then it goes completely the other way. The ball was supposed to go to the right to Traylon, but again, some of the things that you're going to make mistakes. Nick threw the ball to the left to Mike Woods, and as you can see, CJ was never even looking on that side. That ball's never gone to the left on that case to Mike, and so it was a mistake. I mean, we made a mistake on it. If he goes to the right, CJ's wide open running down the field. It's we're talking about something totally different right now. The other was we were covered up. We did cover up a receiver. It was just simple tray formation for us, and Traylon Burks lined up on the line of scrimmage, and we've lined up in that formation 1,000 times, and he made a mistake. And that's going to happen sometimes, and with some of these young guys. But again, that was a big play in the game. That was one of the 3 costly penalties that we had right there.
Austin Capps, forced he out, coach, as far as coming back. And then Davion Warren, was he hurt Saturday night, and then is he okay now?
Davion did get hurt Saturday night and was struggling with his hand. And so he was back out at practice yesterday. Austin Capps, we hope to have him back out to practice on Tuesday. He was not out there yesterday. We believe he'll be good to go this Saturday.
Chad, you mentioned the importance of the run game. When you look back at this last game, what was it that prevented you from running the way you wanted to do, and what do you have to get better to exert the run?
Well, I think first half, I think that they were loading the box on us, and I think that they really, going back and watching film, they didn't do anything out of the ordinary. They bumped their front a little bit, slid their front, but we see that every week against our defense. So that wasn't anything out of the ordinary. We've just got to continue to maintain our blocks, play with a low pad level, and we got to be able to hang on the football too. But I thought we had some creases there. We were mixing some things up, and that was it.
Scooter, I guess he went out a little bit during that game. Is he healthy? Looks like he hadn't had quite the 2 games of that he would have last year. So
no, he's healthy. I know he went out with some cramps in the game last week, but he's healthy.
What did you see from Ricky Stromberg in his first career start, and then any other injury updates that you have?
As far as other injuries, no. Outside of what we've already talked about, I thought Ricky played really well. I thought he played really well. I thought he was made some mistakes. We missed a call late in the game, and we allowed penetration to come right over the top of him for a TFL. But I thought he played really well, and I'm excited about him as well.
Chad, with the kickers, Loy had a pretty good first game, and then he hit a pretty good one his first try the other night, and then after that he didn't seem to get the distance. And Limpert's been such a reliable guy. How surprised was it to see him miss, and then he had to hit the upright. I guess got the other one. That was just maybe a bad night for those guys, or how do you feel about that?
Well, I thought that I did think obviously that if the first punt was going to be any indication of what it was going to look like the rest of the night, I thought he was fixing to have a great night punting the ball. I thought that we put him in too many what we call pin punt situations. We were trying to get the ball inside the 20-yard line, and we could never get the ball to turn over. But that's something we're going to continue to work. And with Connor, he's been very reliable and very dependable for this program, and have no other indication that he won't continue to be that way. It's just one of those nights.
Colorado State's got a different quarterback, different running back, top 2 receivers from what you saw last year. How different do they look, and what have you seen from them in 2 games?
Yeah, no, obviously much improved from a year ago. The Colin Hill, the Cameron Butler, these guys are definitely playing extremely well. Scored a lot of points last week. Was in a shootout with the first week against Colorado. I think that they're very physical up front, both offensive lines and defensive lines. I think that's one of the strengths of their teams, without a doubt. And we're going to have to come in and match their physicality. Again, as I said before, it's about us, and that's our focus on how we're going to respond this week.
Yeah, I think Colorado State had lost 6 straight games going back to last year, and then the Colorado opener. But then they beat Western Illinois pretty good. How much do you think that helps, them, that they had a good win and the momentum, maybe confidence that they're bringing here after a game like that?
Well, I think, any team, any program that gets a win, you build off of it. You build confidence off of it. And I know that they played well against Colorado, and, there was some mistakes at the end. It kind of let Colorado kind of pull away, but it was nip and tuck all the way through that entire game. But I think that the way they responded after that first opening loss last week and played really well and got a win, and I know we're going to get their absolute best.
Chad, what's your overall evaluation of when Stark was in the game? It looked like pass protection was pretty good, other than maybe the 1 sack. Just the feel that you got from how he was directing the offense, and things looked more open up and more dangerous, I guess.
Yeah, I think that I did. The pass protection was. I thought the ball came out of his hand quick, which helped the pass protection up front. We did let him get hit after the ball was released too much. We got to keep him clean, especially in the fourth quarter. There was the 1 sack that he did not have a chance to get the ball out and throw it away. But the one thing I did see, the ball came out of his hand quick, and I thought at that point you kind of saw Ole Miss kind of back off a little bit and give us some underneath stuff and loosen some things up.
Chad, you look at their 2 deep, Colorado State. They got a bunch of guys from, obviously Mike Bobo coached at Georgia a long time, but they got a bunch of guys from Georgia, Florida, South Carolina. It seems like an atypical Western team from a roster standpoint. What do you think about that? Are you familiar with some of their guys? And I would think that would help them deal with the heat on Saturday.
Yeah, we've looking at their roster and seeing some of the players that they've recruited. We recruited several of those guys, especially when we were at SMU, and bumping into their coaches. Their coaches are all over. They do a great job of recruiting. They do a great job of using the footprint of where Coach Bobo was from and the relationships that he has. And I think that's been a huge deal. And you see them travel all over. And I think that's something that's kind of their footprint in recruiting. They go all over.
This is the second straight week your secondary's played nearly every snap. They look pretty tired near the end of the game. Is that an area you'd like to see a little bit more rotation to keep those guys fresh late in the game?
It is, and that's something that from us as a staff that we got to continue to bring these other guys along and get them reps and get them the confidence that they need in practice. Again, when you put the defense out there on the field, as long as they have, it's you're going to see some things at the end of a game that we've got to do a better job of substituting.
Coach, with the running game, it looks like you're getting some production out of Rakeem Boyd and Devion Warren on the end arounds and stuff, but not a whole lot of production from the other backs. What do you have to do to shore that up, and could we possibly see a Monte Spivey? Is he potentially ready?
Well, we're bringing Amonte along. He's going to be a great talent for us, but we just got to make sure that he's ready to get on the field and feels comfortable with what we're asking him to do. I think with the other 2, with Chase and with Devois, I think that there's times there that the crease is there, and we got to find it, and we got to. Devois ran the ball well at times. Thought he caught the ball well out of the backfield. Had the one up the sidelines that if we could just get it on him in stride, we have a chance to score on that play. But with Chase, same thing. I mean, we've got to get confidence in these guys. We know that the the physicality of this league moving forward, we're going to need them all, and we got to make sure that they're ready to go. And so, that's something that we're encouraging those guys, and we got to continue to stay the course with them.
Coach, you guys traveled a lot of freshmen, or true freshmen, but not Hudson Henry. What does he need to do to maybe see the field? And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that same way with a lot of our true freshmen. They're fantastic football players. I mean, you can only travel 70 on the road, and we've got to continue to bring them along and get their confidence and get their knowledge and understanding of what we're asking them to do. Hudson's going to be a fantastic football player for us, but again, we just weren't ready at this point.
About the play the O'Grady play, they pulled the targeting off of it and then respotted it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can they still call a hitting a defenseless player or launching at a defenseless player penalty in that case? And did you say anything to the league about it? And I got another question.
I know that from what we've been told, that if it's close, they're going to call it and then re-officiate it upstairs through replay. And that's what they did, and they didn't see any indication that it was a targeting call, and that was, that's all you ask as a coach. It's just if it's able to go back up and get re-officiated and make sure the right call was made. For the player safety, I think that's the right thing to do, and after watching it on film, I think we made the right call.
Do they not still call hitting a defenseless ball carrier? Because I'm just confused about the rule.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think they can call a late hit, but I don't. I think it's, but no, not that I recall on it.
Dante Wright really stood out to me on film watching Colorado State's 2 games. What do you make of that kid and the way they're using him?
Well, I think that he is a young man that's very explosive. I think a guy that's he's all over the field. I mean, this is a young man that's just a freshman, and they do a great job of moving around and getting the ball in his hands. And so it's someone that definitely he's very quick, and someone we gotta know where he is on the field at all times. They're much better offensively.
Why are they better offensively? What has Hill done? I mean, I know he played, 5 snaps against you guys and didn't do much, but why are they better?
I think they're doing a good job of moving their personnel around, and I think he's confident with his throws and what he's doing. The receivers have been playing well for him, and I think that's really helped him out over the first 2 games.
Coach, how did you tell the 2 quarterbacks who was starting, and just how did they respond?
Well, like professionals. I mean, I talked to Ben and just shared with him that that he's it wasn't really. It'd be a whole lot easier for me to tell Ben you've thrown 3 or 4 interceptions in it. But it wasn't. It wasn't so much what he did or didn't do. It's just what Nick did and provided that spark, and so that was the message. All right. Thank you.